we've been working on a lot. I mean, I think when I first came to you, I needed I needed routine. I needed to feel like I could trust my own decision-making process. Um, I also just needed almost like a North Star, like where do I go? How do I start? Which can be really debilitating to figure out when you have ADHD because you have so
True.
many thoughts about
Yes.
those things. Um, and having started all these new ventures of like, being still like a newish mom who wanted to be a present mom, a present partner, but who was also starting a freelance career. So I had a lot that we have been working on. So we started with routines, and that's been so helpful and the
Mhm.
foundation for everything else that we've been able to do. And what I really love is that you asked about what would feel good to me. You got me to start thinking about it. It wasn't just like, you're going to do this and you're going to do this. It was, well, what feels good to you? You
Yeah.
would make a suggestion and then ask me, how does that sound? How does that feel? So even in the beginning, when we started talking about, I was like, oh, I want to wake up earlier. And you setting up as my accountability partner. So then I had someone who I was, beholden to because I didn't want to let you down of like, I'm waking up. And then you even checking in after those first few days of like, how does that feel? Did you like that? Giving me that permission to change if it didn't feel like it fit within my schedule.
Hey.
Um, and giving me the permission to just to show up and not even have to necessarily do work and being like, hey, let's just show up. Maybe you work, maybe you don't, but it's one step at a time and breaking things down into the little steps, which can be hard for someone who has ADHD. It's hard to know those steps, what those steps are and what to do. And so you've given me this great foundation for creating these routines. And then once we got into that good place of like, okay, this is how I start my day, and it feels good to start my day like this. I feel capable when I start my day like this. Then it was like, okay, let's move on to your business. What do you want? Like just those questions of like, and you being okay with maybe you don't fully have the answers and you don't have to have every answer right now. And making those lists of like, okay, what are some ways that we can go about achieving that goal, even if it's a small thing, even if it's a hard thing that would be something that takes a really long time to do that I didn't want to do. You encouraging me like, what's the small step that you can take towards this more difficult thing? And what's the the thing that's been so wonderful about it is that idea that we talk about is like productivity begets productivity. I do the one thing and I feel so good that I want to do another thing and I want to do another thing. And
Yay.
that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I can do these things is so empowering because as people with ADHD, we often feel like there's something wrong with me that I can't do it the way that everybody else does it. And you have helped me realize one, I don't have to do it like everybody else does it. Um, but I can still do it. I can do it in a way that makes sense for me and that works for me and my life. And so just those feelings of feeling like a person who can be present, who can be a person of their word, who can sit down and make business decisions.
Look at you go.
It's been really empowering. It's really a really empowering feeling.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see like what's been happening and where we're gonna go.
Yes, yes. I cannot stop talking to people about this. Even a friend of mine, the some of the things that we have implemented, some of the routines, I was telling her about it, and like our brain dump list, like keeping them short, and the 1 minute rule. I was telling her about that last week when we had lunch. A mom friend of mine, and she texted me yesterday and said, "Hey, I've been implementing some of those techniques that you taught me, and I'm feeling so good."
Yay. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Oh my God, it can
So
be such
your reach.
simple little things that make a difference, both like internally and then also externally.
Absolutely. And your reach is not just hitting me, right? It's
Hey, oh, you're having
your
such a
your
positive
reach.
impact too.
Yes, yes.
Oh, thanks, Brandy. I so appreciate yeah, just hearing this. It's so fun to reflect on it. And I mean, and this feeling, this like memory now too is that same thing that kind of builds the momentum of like, yeah, this is working, this is feeling good, this is what I can do, and now I
Yeah.
want to do more in ways that work for me. So
The trust. It's like self-trust is a
yes.
huge thing, right? You know, that feeling
Yeah.
of like, oh, I can do this. Or if maybe my brain today is focusing on something else, that's not a bad thing or a problem or something that needs to
Mhm.
be fixed per se.
Mhm.
Maybe it's that's what I want to be focusing on. Or maybe there's some other environmental factors that I
Yeah.
need to change or fix or update in order so that I can focus on the other thing. It's yeah, it's the trust. It's the self-trust has been one.
Yes. Oh, I'm delighted. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for telling me.
And being here, like being around someone else who is successful and working on their business, but who can also admit, hey, I'm trying to figure these things out. It's nice because I don't feel alone. I feel like, oh, okay, she's able to do this and she's figuring these things out. We can do this together. That sort of camaraderie too is
Mhm.
so important and so lovely.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and our session, I've only made it to one like, you know, Friday session, but that session, the one that I did make it to was so helpful. I don't think that I would be on this path that I am right now with trying to secure funding for my film if
Mhm.
I hadn't gone to the Friday session, you know, and met other women who are also, you know, dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
just
thank
really
you.
grateful.
Oh, this is great. I so appreciate it. It's been such a fun start to my day to meet with you and hear you share. So
Good, good.
so let's roll. I know you've got some things. I've got co-working as
Yes,
part of one of
right?
my systems. I don't, you're not sticking around, right? Because you're going in person to your job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks so
Okay.
much, Brandy. Have
Yeah.
a
Have a
great
good
week.
Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.